Hello everybody. Today's tutorial is the second part of the small business bookkeeping, where we cover expenditure, bought ledger, as opposed to sales ledger and invoicing, which we worked on last time. So lots of accountants receive bags of receipts or shoe boxes. I actually received a bag the other day that was left at my door. It took me a few hours just to flatten the invoices out. They'd been left in glove compartments, stained with coffee, cement. I've had them stained with hair dye, and also when they get left in vehicles, we've got this one. And that's the thermal, because it's thermal printed, and that's been left in a warm car, and you can only see vaguely the amount. So I've had to put that one aside. I can't file it. Maybe when I do the reconciliation, it will turn up on a bank statement, because I've only got the amount. I haven't got a date. I haven't got a supplier. If it happens to be cash, I'd have to discard that. There's nothing I can do with that, because the tax authorities would probably say it could have been from a previous year, or even further back than that, or claimed on already, because there's no information. So when I get all the receipts, I file them in date order, and within a month within each card. There are a few types of invoices and receipts you get. There'd be this type, which is an immediate purchase, which could be for fuel, anything like that really, tools, supplies, hair dyes. So you'd pay for that immediately. So that would be filed immediately until you reconcile it. Another type would be perhaps a utility statement. So you wouldn't pay that immediately. You usually get a bit of grace on that. So I would tend to keep the unpaid ones to the top, and all the invoices filed monthly underneath in date order. Then there's another type of invoice where you wouldn't pay immediately. You'd probably get 30 days if you had a trade account. So again, that one I would again file at the top with the utility statement until it's paid. And then once it's paid, I would just put the date on the back, and then bearing in mind that the date of the invoice would probably be a month previous, but I would file it under the date it was paid, so that would make it easier when you come to reconcile your bank statements. Also, with parking tickets, it would be such a chore just putting individual ones in date order within a month. So what I do is tend to keep them till the end of the specific month, then clip them together and total them up, and that just makes that a lot easier. So then you would put them in date order. Then you would either on a spreadsheet using Word enter that data and then print it off. And next time I'll show you one of those when we can do the bank reconciliation. But basically it would have the following titles, and then I'll show you in a minute. So for your expenditure, you would have the date, and again, as I say, those invoices that you paid a month later would slip in there. Then you'd have the supplier's name, a reference number. Now that's ideal, but I tend not to fill that out until the sort of doing the annual submission of accounts to the accountant, because I've found in the past that you'd get someone who'd say, oh, I found this one in a drawer, can you slip it in? And also you get, they suddenly think of things like charity donations that they may have made. And so if you've numbered all your bills, then you've got to slip that one in and you to call it A or B, and the authorities don't really like that. So I tend to leave my numbering right until the end. And also it may be that you've put one out of date order as well, so that would allow you to correct that. So then you would have how you paid it, whether it was a cheque, which is becoming rarer and rarer, a credit card or cash, and also PayPal. And also some of my clients tend to have a couple of bank accounts. So you'd have to specify which bank and have a separate column for that. Then you would have your stock item. So that would be your supplies. So if you're a hairdresser, it would be all your dyes and conditioners and bleach and things like that. And for a builder, the same, all the things that he'd be using for a particular job. Then you've got the vehicles. So if you've got one vehicle, you just have one column, but if you've got a number, then you would have a few different ones. Then you would have one for telephone, that's for your phone bills, or any purchases of phones. And if you've got a mobile phone, and maybe a landline that you use, or a number of phones, then you would have to do those separately. Any rent, if you pay that, and any maintenance on a building, like if you've got to put a security camera up or something like that. Then there's clothing and footwear, which is sort of necessary for your job, so you would have a column for that. Then any professional fees, if you've had to consult an architect or solicitor or accountant. Then you would have any machinery or tools that you need. So as opposed to, like in the case of a hairdresser, where you would have your stock items to supply your service, you would also have like tools that you would need to do your job. Then insurance, car parking, congestion charge, fines, that would be another column. Cleaning, another one. Office supplies, it's nice to keep that separate as well. Refreshments, now you can't always get a subsidy for that, but it's good to show anything that you know, like if you're buying tea, coffee and sugar, and also if you take someone out for lunch, there's not, you as I say, you can't claim that back, but it'd be nice for the accountant and the authorities to see that. And lastly, charity, I touched on that earlier. So you get a subsidy on your tax if you donate to charities. So it's good to log that down that you've done so. Sometimes you get rugby or football clubs that allow you to place an advert, and you pay them for that, whether it be a billboard or in a booklet. So I think that's all of them. So you would either have them on a spreadsheet or the ledger, as I talked about earlier. So I said about your sales invoices being there. That's the jobs that you've done, and this is the expenditure, and there's all those columns that I've just detailed. If you are VAT registered, you would need to show what the transaction was, the gross amount. Then you would calculate the VAT on it, sometimes that's already detailed on the receipt that you get, but not always. And then you would just add your net amount. And I think that's most of it for expenditure. Next time we'll probably do the reconciliation, and I'll be able to print off the Excel spreadsheet of where I've typed in for a client as opposed to this one. It depends on what they like. I mean, this does take a long time because you're handwriting it, but some people just like to be able to view how much they've made there on that section, and also how much they've spent. And bearing in mind, for one invoice, you could have up to 10 receipts of expenditure that you've had that is offset against that invoice, as well as your whatever you charge for what you do. So you'd have the petrol element, the electricity, any stock, any tools that you've had to buy, any postage. Yeah, I think that's it. So that's why you always have you have more expenditure often than your actual sales. Also, another tip, when I was talking earlier about how you receive your receipts, I tend to try and give them a clipboard or one of those elasticated folders where they just put the elastic sort of round them to put their receipts and invoices and any documents in. But they do that for a while, but you don't always get them. But I do have some people that, they come sort of perfect and they are sorted in date order. So I suppose it's you training your clients, but that doesn't always work. So as I say, good luck with that. If you've got any comments, please add them, or any questions that I can answer. Thank you. Bye.